Hello, everyone. It's time to play a game. You all pretended to join, but what I have planned for each of you is very real.
What up, y'all? It's your boy, Mr. Marsharp, Short Man Filmworks in the building, and we have another episode of the Everyday Man's film reviews for you guys this evening. All right, today we're going to talk about the 2022 release of Saw 10. And as you can see, that this has been a long time franchise that's been in the running for what is this, 2023? It's been in the making for 19 years. This has been an almost 20-year franchise that's been going on, and it's been a tradition. It's kind of been a tradition for during Halloween for the Saw movies to start, to come out every year. So I don't lost my train of thought. But anyway, it's been going on for almost 20 years, and we are on the 10th installment of this movie. And I came in contact with this movie. I seen the trailer, and when I seen the trailer, I said, "Oh my God, are they really making another Saw movie?" You know what I mean? Because it's like, it's like a lot of times with these franchises, man, they've been beat to death. You see, you see one, and then you keep seeing the next one, and then you see the next one, and then by the time you get to like, it's like after you get to the third one, it's like after the third one, then it just kind of starts to be the same thing recycled over and over and over and over again. And I felt that way with the Saw movies. Like, I stayed heavily invested in the Saw movies all the way until I want to say, I'm trying to think of the first Saw movie that really grossed me out. I mean, I want to say it probably was, oh man, I'm trying to think, was it the fifth or sixth one? All I know, I remember it was the one where the girl was cutting off her arm and she had to put it on a scale. And I remember watching this movie, and I had seen it on video. I remember watching this movie, and I was eating while I was watching it. And this was one of the first times that the Saw movies had grossed me out, because she was cutting off her arm and cutting it off and just going at it. She was just going at it and dropped it in the scale, and she actually won the game. And I was just like, that's when I kind of started getting to the point where I'm like, okay, these Saw movies are getting a little bit redundant. It's kind of starting to be the same thing. And I didn't see Jigsaw, and I didn't see the one with Chris Rock, which would kind of make it, would that make that the 11th? Would that make this one coming out the 11th movie, because it was a branch off of Saw? I think the last one I saw, I want to say it probably was Saw 3D. I think it was Saw 3D. I think that was the last one I saw. And I don't know if that was the 8th or the 9th one, to be honest with you. I really don't remember what was going on in that. I really don't remember what was going on in that movie, man. But I think that was the last one I saw. Whichever one it was, where the two guys was at the beginning of the movie, and people was gathered around watching them go through whatever little torture method they was going through. That was the last Saw movie I saw. I didn't see Jigsaw, and I didn't see Spiral. I didn't see that one, because I was just like, yo, I can't deal with no more of this gory stuff. So I guess y'all wondering, okay, if you can't deal with all this gory stuff, then okay, why are you doing a movie review on Saw 10? Well, I did it on Saw 10 because, my curiosity peaked. And when I seen the trailer, I was like, oh, okay, well, they actually have Jigsaw back in this movie, so let's see how they bring him back to life, even though we already know he can't come back to life, because they cut him open, they took his brain out and all that stuff. So I was like, okay, well, let's see what the premise of this movie is going to be about. And you know what, for real, I enjoyed this version of this movie, man. I enjoyed Saw 10. I enjoyed it because this one wasn't too much about all the kills. It was more about Jigsaw's story, more about John Kramer's story. Well, do I want to call him Jigsaw or John? Well, I call him John because they refer to him more in this movie as John. But this one reminded me of what 1, 2, and 3 were about. You know what I mean? You had the traps going on in the movie, but it wasn't as gory as all the other ones. It's like all the other ones it was just about the gore. After a while, it just started becoming about the traps. It started becoming about what was going to be entailed inside the traps. This one was more story driven. It was more story driven. You got more of a sense of what John was going through with his cancer. He's trying to find a cure, and it's almost like he would go to any lengths to be healed. You know what I mean? He wanted to go through anything just to be healed, and he comes in contact with this doctor that claims that she can heal him. And if you saw the trailer, you got a gist of what the movie was going to be about. And I'm not going to dig too far into it, but that's what hooked me. The trailer hooked me in going to see this movie, because if the trailer didn't hook me, I really wouldn't have went to go see this movie, because I'd have been like, man, I didn't see the last 2 or 3, so why am I going to go see this one? But the trailer got me. So with that trailer got me into the theater, and I was like, yo, I actually like this movie, man. It was better than what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just going to be another gore fest. It was just going to be about the traps. Everybody was going to die, and that'd be the end of it. But as I said, we got more into what John was about, and his whole purpose of making these traps. Basically, hey, listen, I got this cancer, and I'm learning how to live my life every day to the fullest, because now I got this prolonged death sentence where at any given time I can die. They're giving him a month, they're giving him a year, they're giving him the diagnosis with the cancer, and he's looking at everybody that's pretty much taking their life for granted. So we get in, I don't want to say we get into that, but you always understood what Jigsaw was about, and it took it back to the roots of the first movie, because I feel like with the first movie, this is what the first movie was about. It was about, okay, I want to say the first 3. It was about these people where they were doing what they were doing, and they was going through however they was going through their life, and then Jigsaw was like this instrumental part in letting them see their wrongdoings, and just saying, okay, listen, you got to be on a different trajectory, because if you don't, you're going to keep on leading your life to destruction. How bad do you really want to live? How bad do you really want to live? And I got that more in this film. You know what I mean? I don't want to give it up, but I'm gonna give up a little bit. A couple people escape their traps, and he stays true to his word. Once they get out the trap, they get out of the trap and they live. You know what I mean? But the way this one played out, I like the way this one played out. This one played out pretty smooth. So, and I think the way it's put together in a way, because I believe, like, you had the first one, and then I think the first one explained what happened in the second one with what's her name, with Amanda. She went through her trap. She beat it, but she was his accomplice. You know what I mean? And then we go through the second one where she takes everybody through the traps, and then we get through. I think the third one it jumped around a lot, and I want to say this one was kind of more like, I don't know. I want to say it kind of was dropped off, probably. Because I'm trying to remember what the other ones were about in the kind of the chronological order. But I feel like this one was dropped in, I want to say maybe between the first and the second, or maybe the second and third. Because Amanda is still his accomplice in this film, and he also has Detective Hoffman helping him out. So I want to say it's somewhere in between those. It's somewhere between the first and second one, and somewhere between the second and third one. I can't pinpoint exactly where that timeline is, because I know a lot of people are like, okay, well, how did they bring Jigsaw back? So in a lot of ways, this is a prequel. It's a prequel, but it's another story that goes into what was going on with John Kramer at the time. So it's another branch off of the story, but other than that, man, I enjoyed this movie, man. I would recommend, if you got your fill of Saw, go see this one. Because it would, I don't want to say it's going to restore your faith, but you're not going to go into it, being disgusted. You know, I want. Well, I won't say disgusted, but I wasn't grossed out. You know, so beyond, and if you're a person that's looking for the grossed out traps, this is not going to be for you because they're in there, but it's not. It's not made for that. I feel like this movie wasn't made to glorify that, and it wasn't. It wasn't made to glorify that. It was more of telling John Kramer's story. You know, that's just the word of that. So, getting to my scale, like I said, I don't want to give up a lot of these movies because it's pretty fresh. Probably if I would have saw this a month from now, and I would have spoiled it. But it's pretty fresh. It came out. I want to say, did it come out last week or did it come out 2 weeks ago? I think it came out 2 weeks ago. So I know it's still a fresh movie, and a lot of people still going out there to see it. So I'm not going to spoil it. So getting to the scale, I will give Saw 10. I'll give Saw 10 3. I give it 3 thumbs up, and I'm going to start changing the scale because I feel like I do 4. And I feel like it's not enough, so I'm gonna add on another thumb. So I'm gonna go from a 1 to a 5 thumbs up scale. So I give Saw 10. I want to give it do I want to give it 3.5 or 4? I'll put it to you like this: if you're going into for the Gore Fest, then this ain't gonna be for you. It's not gonna be for you. But as far as story, because I really like the story of this film. As far as story, I'm gonna give this movie 4 thumbs up. I'm gonna give it 4 thumbs up. It ain't top notch. It ain't a 5. I'm gonna give it 4 thumbs up because of the story and the direction that it went in. You know what I mean? And it's a Saw movie. You know what I mean? You can't. I mean, I want to say you can't go wrong with a Saw movie, but if you like the first 3. Then you'll enjoy this one, in my opinion, because I loved the first 3 movies. I love the first 3 movies. I think they should have ended it at the first 3, just made it a trilogy and called it a day, and it would have ended just fine. And then if they would have made this Saw 4, then it would have kind of continued what it needed to continue. But I think, you know, if you like the first 3 movies, you will enjoy this one. You know what I mean? Because I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. So I give it 4 thumbs up. Tobin Bell comes back as well. He does his thing as Jigsaw. And Tobin Bell has created a lifetime iconic character. You know, nobody else can play Jigsaw but Tobin Bell. And if you listen to Tobin Bell in any of his interviews, he doesn't sound like John Kramer. You know, I thought he sounded like John Kramer. I thought that was his regular voice. You know what I mean? And then when I think I seen him on a late night talk show. I can't remember what late night talk show it was. And I think this when Saw was really starting to blow up. And he was in an interview, and his voice sounds completely different. It's a lot lighter. It doesn't have that rough growly texture in his voice. So for him to make that decision to do that with that character, he created an iconic character. What's her name? Shawnee Smith. I want to say her name is Shawnee Smith. She plays Amanda, and you can tell she's getting older. Ooh, she's getting older in the face, but she plays her part. She plays her part, and like I said, man, she has a story, and she has a little something going on with her inside of this, where you see her humanity is starting to come out. Because she kind of, in this one, she kind of has I think she's kind of playing with the line of really being into the traps and really being into what John is doing, but she also has some of that humanity in her too. So I like the direction her character went in as well. I didn't write down the actress's name who plays the shady ass doctor, but she played a good villain for what it was. She played a good villain for what it was. And what's my man name? Detective Hoffman. He makes a slight. I'm giving up the movie, but I put it to you like this: I'm giving up a little bit of movie. You got to stay to the end of the stay for the post credit scene. Stay for the post credit scene, and then y'all see what I'm talking about with Detective Hoffman. But for what it's worth, man, the movie, I think the movie was great. I think the screenwriter, and the director, they made good choices, especially the screenwriter. I think the screenwriter made a good choice to actually tell the story of what John Kramer is going through at this present moment. He did a good. They did a good job telling the story from where it is at this particular moment. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's more of a humanity story. You know, and I think and you got into the point where in the other Saw movies, when it started getting gory, you started rooting for the people that was in the traps. But in this one, I don't want to call John a bad guy. I don't want to call him a bad guy because you know what he does, but you find yourself rooting for him. In a weird way, he's the protagonist. Well, he is the protagonist because you have the doctor who's the villain. So he is the protagonist in the story, and in a weird way, you find yourself rooting for him, even when he's putting people through these traps. You find yourself rooting for him because you want him to get his just due. You want him to get his retribution. You want him to get what he wants out of this situation. You know what I mean? So you find yourself rooting for him. So I find that, I don't want to say I find that crazy, but I find that to be an interesting dynamic, that you would think he would be the antagonist in the movie and he's more of the protagonist. So I like that, man. I like that about this film. You know, like I said, man, I really did like this movie. I liked this version of the movie. And kudos to the trailer, because if the trailer didn't hook me, I wouldn't have seen this movie. I'd have been like, it's another Saw movie. It's going to be full of blood and guts and body parts ripping apart and heads turning around and shit breaking and stuff being ripped apart. I'm like, I can deal without that. That's why I didn't see the last few Saw movies, because I'm like, I don't feel like dealing with that shit. I don't feel like dealing with that. So I left it alone. But I'm glad I went to go see this movie. All right. So if you saw Saw 10, drop some comments down below. Let me know how you enjoy it, if you liked it, if you didn't like it. You know, put some likes on this video, show your boy some love, subscribe to the channel, go back, check out some of my other videos and put some comments on there, give me some likes, and like I said, man, just spread the love, just show love and spread the love. All right. So get it together. All right. This is Short Man Filmworks. I'm your boy, Mr. Mar Sharp, and these are the Everyday Man's Film Reviews. Y'all take care. Y'all have a good night, and I will see y'all on the next one.